This is Amber Davis Corbin, and this is my case study on Rosa Parks. I titled this case study, "The Only Tired I Was Tired of Giving In," and this is Rosa Parks' perseverance in adversity.
I don't know why we're bothered with all this reading and arithmetic when all we're going to end up doing for jobs is washing somebody's clothes and wiping their baby's snotty noses.
Does anybody want to answer Rowena's question? Rosa, why do we bother?
We bother so we can be equal to everybody else.
We're not equal to everybody else. We're not equal to white folks.
I was raised to believe if I put my mind to it, I could do whatever I want in this world. I decided no one's better than me. No man, no woman, black or white. No one.
If white folks say
no one. A person take everything from you, even your life, but they can't take your dignity. Can't nobody take that from you but you. That's what my grandparents told me, and I believe it.
If you learn nothing else at Mrs. White's school, may the blessed Lord help you remember these principles.
I wanted to use this video to demonstrate how Rosa Parks was an advocate from the very beginning. This is a timeline beginning her early childhood. She was born February 4th, 1913 in Tuskegee, Alabama. In 1915, her parents separate and her mother moved the family to Pine Level, Alabama to live with her grandparents, who were both former slaves and strong advocates for racial equality. In 1919, she attended a segregated one-room school in Pine Level, Alabama. This school lacked adequate school supplies, and she was forced to walk to school from first grade until sixth grade, although transportation was provided for whites. After sixth grade, she attended a segregated school in Montgomery, Alabama. She attended an industrial school for girls beginning at the age of 11. Rosa left school to attend to both her sick grandmother and mother back in Pine Level. She never returned to her studies. Instead, she got a job at a shirt factory in Montgomery. Her teenage years from 1924 to 1929, in 11th grade, she was attending a laboratory school for secondary education. She was forced to drop out due to her mother and grandmother's illnesses and did not earn her degree. Creativity that was observed in her early and teenage life. Her grandparents were former slaves, and I used Torrance's creative positives to analyze what I thought I could see in her as creative. And the one thing I noticed about her grandparents being former slaves was her ability to express her feelings and emotions. She learned at a very early age how to do this. She learned to read at a young age, which demonstrates articulateness in role-playing and storytelling and richness of imagery and creative writing. She continued her education despite the circumstances and lack of support from society, which demonstrates problem-centeredness and emotional responsiveness. She faced racial discrimination very early on and learned to be an advocate, which demonstrates originality of ideas in problem-solving, brainstorming, and expressiveness in speech. She attended a laboratory secondary school as an 11th grader, which also demonstrates problem-centeredness and emotional responsiveness. Her timeline of early adulthood: in 1932, at the age of 19, she met and married Raymond Parks, a barber and an active member of the NAACP. In 1933, she earned her high school degree with the support of her husband. She's actively involved in civil rights issues. In 1943, she joined the Montgomery chapter of the NAACP as a secretary. In 1949, she became the youth leader of the NAACP chapter in Montgomery. The creativity that was observed in her early adulthood: she earned her high school degree with the support of her husband. The Torrance creative positives that demonstrated creativity in this aspect were the ability to express feelings and emotions, originality of ideas in problem solving, and brainstorming. She could not have done this had it not been for her dedication and strong mind that she was going to get it done. She was actively involved in civil rights issues, which demonstrates originality of ideas in problem solving and brainstorming. She joined the Montgomery chapter of the NAACP as a secretary and became the youth leader of the NAACP chapter in Montgomery. Torrance creative positives demonstrated that she found enjoyment of and skills in group learning and problem solving, and she also demonstrated the ability to express feelings and emotions. This is the timeline during the Montgomery bus boycott time period. She was arrested in 1955 on December 1st. She was charged with violating Montgomery, Alabama's segregation laws by refusing to give up her bus seat to a white passenger. The trial began December 5th. She was found guilty of violating a local ordinance and fined $10 as well as a $4 court fee. Trial started the Montgomery bus boycott that lasted 381 days. After all of this, Rosa still participated in organizing a boycott for the Montgomery bus system. In 1956, she lost her seamstress job in January. Her husband also lost his job. She was arrested along with other boycott organizers for violating anti-boycott laws. And in 1957, she moved to Detroit, Michigan, and participated in prayer pilgrimage for freedom. Some creativity that was observed during the Montgomery bus boycott: she refused to give up her seat, which is the one thing that she's known for. The Torrance creative positive is expressiveness of gestures and body language. She didn't give up her seat because, she wanted to stand her ground and everything like that. She didn't give up her seat for the simple fact that she was tired. And that's what a lot of people don't understand, but she wasn't trying to cause an uproar. She was able to express her feelings and emotions by simply being tired. She had worked all day and she was tired. She demonstrates problem-centeredness and emotional responsiveness and effectiveness in speech. Rosa participated in organizing a boycott for the Montgomery bus system. The Torrance creative positive is enjoyment of and skills in group learning and problem solving, the ability to express feelings and emotions, and emotional responsiveness. She lost her seamstress job in January, and her husband lost his job. This is an unimaginable circumstance that someone would have to face, especially during this time period where African Americans were not as privileged as whites. But the Torrance creative positives that demonstrate this are originality of ideas in problem solving and brainstorming and problem centeredness. She continued to be a civil rights activist no matter what came her way, and this demonstrates enjoyment of and skills in group learning and problem solving and the ability to express her feelings. This is life after the Montgomery bus boycott. In 1963, she participated in the March on Washington for Jobs and Freedom. In 1965, she participated in the Selma to Montgomery March. From 1965 to 1988, she worked in Congressman John Conyers' district office in Detroit, Michigan. In 1979, she was awarded the NAACP Springer Medal. In 1987, she founded the Rosa and Raymond Parks Institute for Self-Development. This institute that she founded was organized in order to educate young children about civil rights and the movement. Life after the Montgomery bus boycott continued. From 1992 to 1996, she published books to promote advocacy of civil rights. In 1996, she was awarded the Presidential Medal for Freedom. In 1999, she was awarded the Congressional Gold Medal. And October 24th, 2005, she passed away. She passed away in Detroit, Michigan, and she was laid in honor in the United States Capitol Rotunda. Some creativity that is observed after the Montgomery bus boycott, you can see that she continued to participate in civil rights marches. This demonstrates enjoyment of and skills in group learning and problem solving, the ability to express feelings and emotions, problem-centeredness, emotional responsiveness, and effectiveness in speech. She founded the Rosa and Raymond Parks Institute for Self-Development, and the Torrance Creative Positives are originality of ideas in problem-solving, brainstorming, etc., effectiveness in speech, and she published books. Torrance Creative Positives are articulateness in role-playing and storytelling, richness of imagery and creative writing, and effectiveness in speech. She also continued to be a civil rights activist until death. This demonstrates her enjoyment of and skills in group learning and problem solving, the ability to express feelings and emotion, problem-centeredness, and emotional responsiveness. We kind of see a trend throughout her entire life that she loved to work with groups to be an advocate for civil rights. She was able to express her feelings and emotions. She was a problem solver. She responded to her emotions. She knew that she wanted to be an activist for civil rights, so she continued to do so. And she was very effective in speech throughout her entire life. And this last video, I wanted to end with this because this is creativity in action.
Born the eldest of two children in 1913, Rosa Louise McCauley was raised on her grandparents' farm in Pine Level, Alabama. As a child, Rosa was exposed to the realities of segregation. She walked to school daily because the elementary school bus system prohibited black students from riding. Rosa later attended the Alabama State Teachers College High School. However, due to both her grandmother and mother's illnesses, she was forced to drop out. At 19, Rosa met Raymond Parks, who worked with Montgomery's NAACP chapter. After their marriage in 1932, and much encouragement, she earned her high school diploma. Rosa joined Raymond in the NAACP, serving as the chapter's secretary and youth leader.
History is peculiar. It places gifted and talented women and men in situations where they must make a choice. The choice she made was on the afternoon of the 1st of December, 1955, on a bus as she was going home from her seamstress job in a department store in Montgomery, Alabama.
Rosa, along with 3 other black passengers, were told to give up their seats to a white male passenger. She refused and was arrested. An all-day bus boycott was organized on the day of Rosa's trial, December 5, 1955, where she was fined $14 and found guilty.
She was a role model for courage in the face of racial injustice. Rosa Parks, through her quiet eloquence, through her commitment both to her faith and to the cause of civil rights and racial equality, was prepared to sacrifice everything, her security, even her life, to fight for what was right, at least her perception of what was justice.
Thank you so much for listening, and I hope you enjoyed.